Jeff Smulyan's roots run deep in Indianapolis. His life and career follow family storylines passed down from his business-minded grandparents, mother Natalie and father Sam, those of entrepreneurship, community service, and leadership.
It's seen a family of entrepreneurs, and I think it was probably one of those things that subconsciously you recognize as part of your DNA.
By the time Jeff graduated high school, he had developed a passion for sports that would ultimately lead to his life's work.
Every kid in the 50s was a Willie Mays fan or a Mickey Mantle fan, and I loved Willie Mays. And so I'd follow the Giants. In those days, you could listen to them on what were called clear channel radio stations, which meant the signal went anywhere.
Jeff fell in love with radio. After graduating from the University of Southern California with his bachelor's and law degrees, he briefly considered staying out west to pursue a career in the industry.
Always had my dream to start a media company, and my dad convinced me to come back and do it here. He had a cousin who had a small station, and my dad said, "I'll invest in this if you'll come back to Indiana and run it until you get ready to start your company."
Jeff threw himself into the business, and in 1973, he launched talk radio station WNTS.
It was a small station, probably most famous because David Letterman was our midday guy. David would do all sorts of crazy things. One day he decided to announce that they'd move the 500-mile race. Instead of having it on 16th Street, they were just going to have it in a straight line from Kansas City to Indianapolis, and that way everybody could be on the main straightaway. I mean, just off-the-wall fun stuff. It was brilliant.
Ultimately, Letterman's antics weren't enough to save the station. Jeff went on to found Emmis Communications and found himself facing new challenges. The launch of WENS in 1981 was touch and go, right up until the station hit the airwaves.
The first record we had pulled is "This Is It" by Kenny Loggins, kind of a meaningful song. And Tim McKee, who was our first air personality, pulled the wrong card, and the song was "Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight" by James Taylor. So we always laughed about that.
Despite the rocky start, WENS soon found its niche, and Emmis took off, expanding across the U.S. in radio, TV, and publishing. Riding a wave of success, Jeff decided to take a chance on an idea he dreamed up back in college, an all-sports station. New York's WFAN was no overnight success, but things started to look up when Emmis inherited Don Imus in a merger.
Even though he wasn't really focused on sports, he reached a very heavily male, sports-oriented audience, and it was a perfect marriage. And the whole thing just started coming together. And then it became a monumental success.
Jeff continued innovating. Power 106 in Los Angeles became America's first rhythmic hip-hop station, followed by Hot 97 in New York. Today, they are the largest hip-hop stations in the world. Jeff also expanded his portfolio. A stint as an owner of the Seattle Mariners afforded him the opportunity to meet future President Bill Clinton. Several years later, the Clinton administration asked Jeff to help broker a deal between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or PLO.
Several of the Arab states said that the PLO needed telecommunications infrastructure, and that if the United States would provide that, they would provide recognition for Israel, and it would be a breakthrough. We reached an agreement that I was very, very proud of.
The appointment and its success came as no surprise to longtime friend Rabbi Dennis Sasso of Congregation Beth El Zedek, who says Jeff represents the best of what he calls Hoosierism.
He has the capacity to be critical of what he feels needs to be criticized, but not destructive. His criticism is always a positive, constructive effort to move things to improvement, to move things to a new plane.
As name recognition grew, Jeff and Emmis received many awards, including the National Association of Broadcasters National Radio Award and the Broadcasters Foundation's Golden Mike Award for charitable efforts. Fortune magazine also ranked Emmis one of its 100 best companies to work for. Former Emmis corporate counsel David Barrett says that honor was especially meaningful to Jeff.
I remember we had a champagne toast in the lobby. Obviously, it's very motivating for employees, but there was a real big smile on Jeff's face because he cared so deeply about some recognition that, hey, Emmis is really a special place.
Barrett calls Jeff a friend and mentor who imparted valuable lessons.
The most important thing was that people matter. He wanted everyone at Emmis to truly love working at Emmis, not like working at Emmis, but really love working at Emmis.
While many of his peers are looking toward retirement, Jeff has his eye on Emmis's future. The company is moving into the development application of new technologies such as Next Radio. It lets listeners tune into their favorite local FM stations wherever they are through the built-in FM chip in their smartphone.
He's not afraid to embrace change, and I think that people will see a new Emmis going forward, and I think that's part of Jeff's vision.
Ever the entrepreneur, Jeff is also a family man, a husband, father, and grandfather whose sense of commitment to his hometown is as strong as ever. He served as an early chair of the Central Indiana Corporate Partnership and remains on its board.
He is the most available, busy person I have ever known, which tells you something not only about how he manages his time, but how he deals with people.
He cares incredibly deeply about Indianapolis and about the state of Indiana. There's no question that our community is a stronger place because of Jeff.